Hey, welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. Thrilled to have Karin Carr back with us today. She is the foremost national expert when it comes to YouTube for real estate agents. And I am thrilled to have her here. She brings such value. I follow her and she's awesome. And so I want to start off by just saying, Karin, thank you for coming back. We didn't scare you away the first time.
No,
thank
you didn't.
for joining us.
No, you're awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I love to geek out on this stuff, and anyone who will listen to me wax poetic about YouTube, I'm happy to take that opportunity to do.
I love it. Let's do really quick. Let me revisit kind of the mission of all of this, why we're doing this.
Okay.
To help agents think bigger. It's amazing what happens when you start to see other people that either are having great success or are helping other people have great success, that our own possibilities start to expand. We start to believe that this can work for me. And
Right.
The whole purpose of the show is to absolutely do that, is to expand people's possibilities, knowing that as they do, their business grows and then their options in life and their impact grows, which is what I'm all about. So you fit the mold perfectly. You're a big thinker. Thrilled to have you back on today. Tell us a little bit, Karin, really quickly, just your what part of the country you're in, and how you stumbled across this YouTube thing for those that didn't get the privilege of watching you the first time you came on the show.
Absolutely. So I am in Savannah, Georgia. I had gotten my license in 2005 in Northern California, and that was during the crash, and so I was a big REO listing agent back then. My parents live in Savannah, so about 5 years ago, we decided to relocate here. And when you move, you start over in a new market, you are literally a brand new agent all over again, because you don't have any clients there, and you don't have any market share, and you don't have any name recognition, you don't have any signs in the dirt, you got nothing, you're starting over. So I was blogging and I started making YouTube videos, and then I started getting leads where they said, I found your YouTube channel, I've been watching all of your videos, I feel like I know you already. And I thought, well, forget the blog, I'm just gonna skip over the blog and go straight to video. And my business has completely exploded. And now, instead of being a solo agent, I have a team, and I get probably 70% of my clients and closings that say they found me on YouTube.
You go from hunting to being the hunted. You know,
Absolutely.
I know that there's people that have great success buying leads on the internet, but I'm telling you, when you show up in that space, you're a means to an end. You've got no credibility. The only thing that you do is you've got the license and the keys to open the door for them. However, when somebody has a chance to observe you and receive value from you over a period of time, something amazing happens, right? Which is what you're describing about, is like, I feel like they feel like they know you, and it's like they trust you already, right? Totally changes the entire conversation.
It totally changes the entire conversation. It's the difference between buying a lead from Zillow and they're interested in 123 Main Street, and you call them, but 4 other people also got that same lead, and they're like, oh, I already made an appointment with somebody else to see that house, thanks. Or they don't answer the call at all and they don't want to talk to you. It goes from that type of a lead to me calling and saying, hey, Joe, I saw that you just downloaded my free relocation guide. Are you thinking about moving to Savannah? And they go, oh my God, I can't believe you're calling me. You're a celebrity. You must be so busy. Thank you for calling me. What do I have to do to get you to take me on as a client? It's like, am I being punked? Is this a joke? The first time somebody said that to me, I laughed so hard. I was like, I'm sorry. Can you just wait 1 minute? Like, I am not famous at all, but that's their perception. They think of you like you've got a show on HGTV. And after you hear that over and over and over again, you're like, I guess I am kind of famous. This is awesome.
You know,
and
I actually teach.
Grateful that you picked up the phone and called them.
I actually teach a class around storytelling of how to get and command HGTV-like attention. We'll have to share that within the Think Bigger Real Estate group at some point. But it's exactly that. I mean, and the example that I share is, if Chip and JoJo moved to a new market, let's say Savannah, Georgia, would they have any trouble getting clients? And the answer is no.
Right.
Like, there'd probably be a line out the door to work with those two, right? Or the Property Brothers or whoever. Why? It's because their value has been extended over time to people. There's trust. There's this relationship that's built, even though it's been one way. They feel privileged to be in conversation with you, and they already know the value that you bring. It's no longer about get me to the house. It's about get me to you, right?
Exactly. And so it goes from just all real estate agents are the same. You're a means to an end. You're nothing but a door opener, to like, ooh, how can I get this person to take me on as a client? Because I want to work with them specifically.
So cool. We've actually had a couple comments I want to point out here really quick. Speaking of the devil, Jesse Dow.
Yes, I know YouTube is your new favorite.
Jesse's a disciple of Miss Carr here. So, and then Kyle Spencer, I got to put this one up here, right? Love learning marketing and best practices from you, Justin Stoddard, because I've got great people like Karin Carr in my network. So super fun stuff. Thanks for commenting, guys. Let's get into the fact that you have this model, this system that actually helps people, right? And you had people coming to you saying, hey, will you teach me that? Will you teach me that? Yeah. And you kind of ran into a little bit of a wall, like, I got a lot of commitments already, right?
Right. Yeah, it was funny. I probably a year ago, well, actually it was more than a year ago. It was in about February of 2018, I guess. And I think I'd had the 5th conversation on the phone with an agent who was saying like, wow, does this really work? How are you doing it? How do you figure out what to talk about? And when I hung up the phone at 9:30 at night, my husband said, you need to be getting paid for this, because you're now spending all of your time teaching other people. And I said, well, they're all asking me for one-on-one coaching, but I don't have time. I have so many clients right now. I don't have time for one-on-one coaching. So I made a YouTube video and I said, hey, listen, if I made a course, would anybody take it? And I had like 150 people sign up on the interest list. So I said, crap, I guess I'm making a course. I don't know how to make a course. What am I going to do? So I started researching it and I figured, okay, I'm going to make a digital course so that when you sign up for it, you log in and you watch the video, you do what it says. You watch the video, you do what it says. And it's basically my method from start to finish of, what do I need for equipment? How do I figure out what my video is going to be about? How do I research it? How do I film it? How do I edit it? How do I promote it? All the things. It's basically my process that I do for myself every single week. And I make one video a week. It's not that much, but I have made one video a week for 2 years straight. And I've only missed one day, and that was because we had a hurricane and we had to evacuate. So I think that was a legitimate excuse.
Justified.
I committed to a video a week, and I publish it on the same day of the week, every single week. And that consistency has rewarded me a million times over. So now when you go on YouTube as a consumer and you look for Savannah, Georgia real estate, realtor in Savannah, moving to Savannah, living in Savannah, cost of living in Savannah, I dominate the search results, and all of that is organic. I have not paid for leads. That is just the beauty of SEO.
So cool. Yeah. Let me put up here one other comment that I'm going to then direct people to go find your dang course. Because what I hear you saying about your course is this, Karin, is that everybody that says, boy, I would like that. In fact, let me tell you what you would like. Okay, let me put up here another comment from Jesse Dow. He has 3 $1 million plus appointments this Friday, all via Zoom. This is because he delved deeply into the strategies that you're talking about, that you teach.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jesse and his business partner, Jackson, interviewed me on their podcast many months ago. And Jackson had said, I'm doing tons and tons of video, but it's all on Facebook. And I said, by the end of this podcast, I will convince you why YouTube is where you need to be. And they went all in after that podcast episode. And now just a couple months later, they're getting results like that. Like their phone is ringing off the hook of people who find them on the internet for free. And then they end up with appointments like that. And it's not just, I got a lead. It's, I got an appointment who then signed an exclusive agreement with me, who then bought or sold a property, and then I get paid. So they're not just leads, they are actual clients.
So it sounds like the way your course is structured is all of us have a sticking point, right? Something that's keeping us from taking the next step. Yeah. Whether it be, I don't know what equipment to use. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how to edit. Like every one of those things is some reason why people are not taking action, right? This show is spreading beyond the Portland metro area. We've got agents all over the country where if you were to Google your particular area and neighborhoods, like there would be like very little or not very good. And it wouldn't take long for you to step in as Jackson and Jesse have done here in the Portland market and just start to dominate, right?
Yeah. Now, Jackson and Jesse are killer videographers. They are a million times better than I would ever be. So they go out and they vlog and they use a drone and they're filming in the community.
They're legit.
My videos look like what yours looks like right now. It is literally, I'm usually filming on, I don't know if you can see it. I've got a tripod with a ring light back there and I put my iPad in the middle and I film with my iPad or my iPhone. And when you turn this camera, like right now I'm doing this on the webcam at my computer, but when you turn it around, you just see this pretty backdrop, which is much like what you have behind you right there. It's just, you know, it's my desk is my backdrop and a couple of pretty things on the wall to look at. So I'm not using fancy equipment. I'm not doing great editing. I'm not doing all of the great things. Right. And I get a crap load of business. So I find that it's not about the equipment. It's not about how great your video editing skills are. All you have to do is be willing to be face to camera because they can't connect with you if they can't see you. And they're not going to judge your appearance. I mean, if somebody did and they said, I don't want to work with you because you've got laugh lines or you've got gray roots, then great, goodbye, because I don't need you as a client either. I don't want to work with anybody that's shallow.
Right.
And they're not ever going to say, you know, I almost hired you to be my buyer's agent, but I felt that your video editing skills were lacking. That doesn't happen. They don't care. They just want to get to know you and your personality. All you got to do is show up and act like yourself on camera. That's literally it.
It's interesting how often I'll have similar conversations about video. Because obviously I do a lot of video and people think that you need to be like a gifted orator in order to do it. And I said, you know, if you perceive that somebody is better than you, it's simply because they started off where you were at, right? Is the reality.
Oh, yeah. I had an appointment this morning. I've got a buyer that's under contract that's building a house. And we were talking about all of the traveling that I've been doing lately to talk about this because she found me on YouTube. And so she watches all my videos. And she said, it's funny, I went and I sorted your videos oldest to newest and I watched some of your first and oh my God, they were so bad. And I said, I know, right? They were so bad as far as the lighting and the sound quality. And I looked like a deer in the headlights. And she said, it's amazing to see how far you've come in such a short period of time. And I said, right, it just comes from sheer repetition. It's simply practice. You don't become a Heisman Trophy winning athlete the first day that you go play in a game. It's because you go out there and you do it over and over and over again, and you get better with the sheer practice of it. That's all.
One of my mentors shared with me, he said, the first 100 videos are not for your audience anyway. They're for you to figure out like what you want to talk about. And
that's a really good point. I mean, I will argue that it's for you to figure out what you want to talk about because
that's what I mean.
You can shorten that up quite a bit. But those first 100 videos are literally you just figuring out how to be yourself on camera and how to let your personality show through and to decide who is your ideal client, who are you trying to attract? And if you know that, then figuring out what to talk about becomes much easier.
So I had an episode last week about the importance of niche marketing, of whatever you are, own it, right? As long as it's not super polarizing, own it, and allow like your tribe to find you. But the key is you can be yourself all day long, but if you don't ever put your face out there, right? There's one way to go out in the community and kind of the old school method of Chamber of Commerce and all these other ways, which I think are important. You know, they maybe play a part, but if you want to really ramp things up quickly and have something where your presence lasts forever, right? Lasts forever on the internet. What a great way to just go be yourself and let your tribe come to you, which is exactly what you're doing, right? You've got people flocking to you because they're like, hey, I like her. She's like me. So what ends up happening is you end up like filling your day and your schedule with people who have self-selected like, hey, I'm like you. Like, what could be better than that, right?
I know, it's crazy when you act like yourself on camera. So you're not trying to be someone that you're not. If you don't wear suits on a daily basis, don't wear a suit in your video, just be yourself. You attract people that have very similar personalities as you. So I've got a client right now that is moving here from Texas. And she was like, girl, I'm going to buy a house with a pool and you're coming over and we're going to have like margaritas in the hot tub on Friday night. And she was saying this stuff before we had ever met. It was, We had talked on the phone, we had emailed, but we had not ever met yet because she lived in Texas.
Yeah.
And it's funny how when not only are they self-selecting you, but they are people like you 9 times out of 10. And so you have a great experience working with them because they're people that you would naturally gravitate toward anyway.
Yeah. And there's this bit of, you've been edified, right? You aren't just like any other agent. They've been watching you and seeing your value to where they respect you more.
Yeah, they've totally vetted you so that the very first lead I ever got for my channel was a listing lead. It was a come list me, but I didn't know that that's what it was. So when he said, will you come over on Saturday and tell us what we need to do to get this house on the market? I'm going, okay, I've only lived in Savannah for 3 months. I've never sold a house in this neighborhood before. These are the objections I always get of how many houses in my neighborhood have you sold? And my answer is going to be a big fat 0. Yeah. So I've got to have all of my objection handlers. What am I going to say? And when I did my listing presentation and I said, so who else are you interviewing? They said, nobody, we already picked you. So I said, fabulous, here is my listing agreement and this is what I charge. And they're like, awesome, give me a pen. They didn't push back on the commission. They didn't say, well, I've got 3 other people I want to interview before we make a decision. Call me next Thursday. They'd already decided. And
the only question they had for you is, can I borrow a pen? That's a great listing appointment, right? The only question is like, where do I sign? Exactly. Okay, one last comment, and then we're going to direct people to your course. And this Jesse Dow, just so everybody knows, is not a plant. He had no idea you were coming on other than I promoted it yesterday. We did not ask him. We're not paying him for this. This is his comments. Karin definitely got us rolling in this space. It opened our eyes to a whole new way to build long-term brand equity. Thank you, Karin.
I am so excited. And Jesse did not take my course. I want to say that. They just listened to what I said when I was talking about this on their podcast, and they were so good with video already. They didn't really need the hand holding. They got it and they just went for it. But if you need the hand holding, if you don't know how to do SEO, search engine optimization, I would just like to say,
SEO is my beep. It's a family show, Karin. It's a family show.
I did a 5-day challenge in my Facebook one day, and I said that on the challenge. I was like, I don't know why I just said that. I have no idea where that came from. And one of my students had this coffee mug made and sent it to me. But
I laughed out loud when I actually saw that hashtag when you said that. I just
so funny. But it's true, because you don't just make a video and call it, come with me as I tour this neighborhood. Like, you have to give your title of your video something that people are actually searching for, either in YouTube or in Google. And Google owns YouTube. So if you have a good video, it can show up on the first page of Google. And I used this as an example the other day. I said, open up an incognito window in Chrome and type in moving to Savannah. The #1 organic spot was my blog post. There were 3 videos and 2 of the videos were mine. So of the top 4 things that showed up organically on the first page of Google, 3 of the 4 were me. So
nice place to be.
That is like, people pay really a lot of money to have that happen. And I have paid $0 because of search engine optimization, SEO. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. I will teach you how to do that in this course.
All right, let's cut to where people can go to actually get this training. We've got the testimonial in place. Thank you, Jesse Dow. Let's put up here, youtubeforagents.com. You're going to go to this site and you're going to click enroll. And by doing that, you're going to like the value of what you are offering. Karin, you ought to think about restructuring this pricing to where you earn like a finder's fee, like a referral fee for all the business that comes in from that. I think you'd probably retire in a year. You'd be done.
Oh my God.
Because the results, I mean, I'm seeing them firsthand from people that are, learning from you. And I think it's just such an important message in a time and an era when we have massive tech platforms that are working to make the agent irrelevant, to make them the equivalent of a barista working a cappuccino machine, an agent working, some technology piece. That's where they're headed, and the compensation is going to match it. The way for you to fight that and to own the space and own your margins and own a business that's worth owning is to build, as Jesse said, build brand equity. And Karin will help you do that in a place where people are going and searching. So I'm excited to, again, share with this audience again, the magic of what you teach. And I want to thank you for joining us today, Karin.
No, thank you so much. And I do also have a free Facebook group if anybody wants to join, just to start learning this stuff at the beginning. If you just go to Facebook and you look for YouTube for Real Estate Agents, it's a group. Gosh, I think we've got 1,500 people in there now, which is pretty awesome. And I do things like a free 5-day challenge to help you get started if you don't really know what you're doing. Just lots of stuff like that. So
good. All right, last question, signature question of the show, Karin. What is it that somebody like you does? Obviously a big thinker, hence you're here, right? Got the emblem in the background, think bigger, people like you. What do you do to ensure that you continue to be a big thinker? Continue to expand your own possibilities?
Because I don't really consider myself to be a big thinker. I've never been super ambitious. Like I was never the person that said, I want to become a real estate agent so I can have a team of 70 people and be in 12 different markets and, make billions of dollars a year. I was just happy being comfortable. I was happy doing enough business to pay the bills and be comfortable. And then when this whole thing kind of snowballed, it happened accidentally. Like I made the course by accident and now I'm loving it. And I'm doing a lot more teaching and speaking and training and stuff like that. And I've hired a team of agents that are now working with the clients. So I'm doing more coaching and training, less speaking. And the more people implement what I'm telling them and then come back to me and say, oh my God, I just got my first client. Oh my gosh, I just had my first closing. Of like, oh my gosh, I have to hire an agent to help me. I need to hire a video editor to do this for me because I'm now so busy and I have so much business that I can't do it all myself. Like seriously, that just makes my freaking day.
So to be a big thinker, you almost accidentally stumbled into the fact that, oh my goodness, I need to add people to, I need leverage.
Yes, thank you for phrasing it so eloquently. That's what it was. I tried to do it all myself for far too long. And now that I have help, I'm like, why didn't I do this so much earlier? So I have a virtual assistant in the Philippines who does my editing for me. And boy, that has freed up so much time. So in the beginning, when you don't have any money coming in, you got lots of time. It's okay to do all of your own video editing because later when you outsource it, you know what to do and you know how to do it so you can explain to them what you want them to do. But then when you get that off of your plate and now you've got several hours a week of free time back to work with clients or do something else, yeah, I wish that I would have convinced myself you got to suck it up and hire somebody even though you don't feel ready because they free up so much more time that then you're working with clients and you're making a lot more money. Like the commission check that you make is a heck of a lot more than what you're paying the virtual assistant. So you should have just done it way earlier.
And you've just answered probably one of the biggest questions to this entire audience. When a great idea comes across someone's plate and they're like, I love it, I just don't have time for it. My guess is you need to get something off your desk. Yeah. Right? An opportunity like this comes around to build long-term brand equity, have become the hunted instead of always hunting. It's time that you look at your desk and say, okay, what is not a high dollar per hour activity and how do I outsource, offload that? I love it, Karin. What a great answer. And you're such a great guest. I thank you for being a friend of the show and coming on again. It's always so fun to spend a little time with you. So I would again encourage everybody to go find Karin's Facebook group, YouTube for real estate agents. And then also for those that are like, it's time. I'm tired of paying for dumb leads. I'm tired of hoping that my friends and family are going to produce, enough referrals and they're not, and everything I do isn't working. I need to find another stream of business coming in. Go take a look at what Karin's offering. It's working for people that I know and love firsthand. So anyway, thank you again, everybody, for tuning into this episode. Karin, I appreciate you so much and look forward to our next conversation.
I appreciate it.
All right, everybody.